What's up? What's up? Good morning. Hope everybody's doing well today. All right. Yes. How are you? Put in the chat how you're doing, where you're watching from, what you're doing today. Man, it is, I don't know when you're watching this, but it's Thursday morning. And yeah, fired up about today. See how, oh, we're sounding good. We're sounding good all over the place. So today, man, there's just a few things that I think would be awesome to talk about. But wherever you're watching this, if you could flip over to YouTube, that would be awesome. A lot of you are watching on YouTube, and I'm so thankful. If you could like and subscribe, that would be amazing. Because why not? What else are you gonna like and subscribe to besides my channel? I mean, really, what else is out there that is really bringing you great content like this? I mean, really, think about it. What else? What else is there? Um, so yeah, today there's a few things that I just want to invite you to. So I want to invite you to a few things. One of those is my online community. I've made a decision. A business perfect decision is, it used to be a paid community. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to be paid community. And so I want people to be able to jump in there and have community. So, man, I would love it if you would jump into my community. It's called Circle of Hope. And I'm going to put the link here in the, where are you at? I'm going to put the link, boom, right here, Circle of Hope. Go ahead and get in today, absolutely free. I think that you will love it. I also have today, we're going live at 2 o'clock. I do a group coaching call at 2 o'clock, and it's on Zoom. And I've got a great friend getting on there with me, and she is going to be coaching us up on how to really hit goals. I think we set a lot of goals at times, but how do we reach those goals? So today, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, go ahead and get in the Circle of Hope. It's right here. Get in there, click the link, do it right now. You're going to love it. And if you're on here, please say hello, say where you're watching from, say what's going on. If you're doing Halloween, that's cool. Go back and watch my videos on Halloween. Also, if you can see the Free People collection went live last Friday. And I don't know if you grabbed your hoodie or you grabbed your coffee cup, but man, it just makes your coffee taste so much better when you're drinking out of the Free People coffee cup, and when you're wearing the Free People hoodie. See, I'm wearing a t-shirt right now. These are not released yet. These are going to come out on Black Friday, because I think that'll be really fun to have a Black Friday product. And they are going to be, this is actually not going to be this t-shirt. It's going to be a much better, this is just a boxy t-shirt. Free People. I don't love it at all. So we're going to do Bella Canvas t-shirts because they're just better. They're so much better. So those will be coming on I think I said Black Friday. Did I say Black Friday or Good Friday? I don't know. But man, I've got to get more consistent with these lives because, up in the algorithm space, it just helps when you do something consistently. That'll preach. When you do something consistent, when you show up consistently, things change, and that's what I need to do with my going live. As you can see, I got my new office. I was in like a closet office, but now I have my own office, like legit. This is pretty cool space. So excited about it. Like I drive to an office. When I first started my business, I worked out of the house, and now that we have moved and all the things, it was just, there's no space. There's no space for me. So I had to move out of my house. Well, I had to move my office out of my house. So if you're on here, will you say hello? Just say what's up. Say something. Just would love to say hello to somebody on here, and we'll just kind of wait for a few more people to go on. But if you haven't already purchased the Free People collection, go in the description and buy a hoodie. You can get a coffee cup and T-shirts. And people were saying they want like socks and trucker hats. Man, I don't know. I just don't know about that. If you're watching the replay and you want socks or trucker hats, or you want some other merch that says free people, let me know what that is. Like I don't know. I don't know about socks. But if the people want it, that's what we'll do. If that's what the people want, that's what we'll do. Also, last week, oh man, let me show you. Hold on. So last week, I went to a conference in Nashville, Tennessee, and that was for my Business Made Simple certificate stuff that I already have. And because I am actually certified business coach, so I help small businesses kind of see areas in their business where they need to be kind of just start working a little better and be able to really make some big time money. I've helped quite a few small businesses since starting coaching, really have become very profitable, but it's not really my passion. That's not my passion. My passion is helping people who are stuck in, who are really struggling emotionally, mentally, and even more so, my passion is pastors who are struggling alone with depression and anxiety. That is like where I believe God is like saying, I need to focus. And with that, I am now also working on because I love the church. Like I think it's amazing. I think the church, if I want to make an impact, yes, I can do it in small businesses, very important. But I really think the church is a place that I believe God wants to use me to make a difference all around the country. And so I am now working on a certification to become add to my tools to be able to help people, is to be a hospitality coach. And that comes from this right here. So this is 𝐊𝐄𝐃𝐒. And man, this is such a great book. So if you haven't read this book, go read this book. It is really, really good. And the point of it is that we need to be unreasonably hospitable. And it's just a book about how he took his restaurant from where it was in New York to like the top 50 in the world to number 1 in the world. And the way that they did it was by by really focusing on hospitality. And I think in the church, what a great place to really show hospitality to the people that God sends in those doors each and every time. And it's more than just saying, hey, if you're a guest, come back here and get a gift. Man, it's about touch points. It's about every touch point that a guest, not just a guest, but a guest and a person who is coming to your church every single week. What are those touch points that they're experiencing? I mean, there's so many of them, from when they pull in the parking lot, from when they're walking in the doors, from when they're dropping off their children, to when they're in the coffee line. What is the experience that the people who attend your church, what are they experiencing? Because if they're having a better experience at a restaurant, at a restaurant, which is cool, I get it. I think it's awesome to show hospitality to people at restaurants. But if they're having a better experience at restaurants than they are in your church, that's where I come in. I want to come in and I want to check out all the different touch points that the people are experiencing when they come into your church. So they're not just going to church, but they are having an experience from when they come in to when they leave to when they get home, because it just doesn't stop there. And there's so many restaurants, there's so many businesses, hotels that do this really, really well, that they're super hospitable. I mean, I stayed in a hotel last week and the hospitality was amazing. I mean, they checking on me, hey, can I do anything? How are you doing? And I know sometimes in church space, we just kind of go through the motions, and this is how we've done it for so long. And we wonder maybe why people aren't as excited to be showing up, or they can make more excuses. But man, if we're being hospitable, which the Lord asks us to be hospitable, then what are some ways that you can do that? And this is an area that I've ran at the churches that I've worked at. I've been over hospitality and guest experience, both online and live in person. And so I am fired up about this. I'm super excited to become to be a hospitality coach. So I'm adding that to who I am and what I do. And if you are a church and you're like, man, we need that, man, give me a call. I'll come be a secret shopper. Okay, I'll come to your church and I'll secret shop and kind of say, hey, here's some areas that we can look at, and here's some touch points that can be ramped up, and really make that amazing. Because sometimes the top of the ladder, the leaders in most businesses and organizations, they don't really know what's happening. Because why? They're leading the organization. And so it's hard for them to really see what's happening underneath, if you will, because they just don't have the time to go and make sure everything is happening. They want it to happen, but you don't have the time or the space to make it happen. And that's where I can come in, and I can help you and help your team and help volunteers to be able to see these touch points to make a great experience in your church and in your business. If this is like, man, I need this in my business, because when we come in, man, music's not on, the lobby is dirty. My employees, they don't know who they are because they're not wearing name tags. Like, there's so many different things you can do to ramp up hospitality just to make it amazing. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. That sounds really good. And so I'm excited about that certification, and it comes from this Unreasonable Hospitality. I will be a certified hospitality coach, and I think I'll be one of the first ones out there, especially in the church world. So, man, let's talk about it. Let's break that down, because I would love to help you in your church or your business grow in that space. So there's that. Also, guys, I got to tell you this story. Actually, I'm going to tell you this story here in a second about how I was threatened by an MS-13 gang member. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to talk about that at the end of this live stream. But I want to talk about at the end how I was threatened by an MS-13 gang member. Like it's really not funny, but it's real. Like that really happened. So stay tuned for that. I have a whole text about it. But what I want to speak about right now is, why do you feel this way? Why do you feel this way? And when I say that, here's what I'm talking about. Why do you feel the way that you're feeling? And what I want you to think about right now is here's a few what do you want to call them, red flags, or things that let's call them recognizing the signs. So let's recognize the signs of why you feel this way. And this is going to be about burnout. And so here's just what burnout is to begin with. Burnout, it shows up as constant exhaustion. Like you're just constantly tired. And I know we got some moms out there, you're like, yep, I'm burnout on the mom space. And I cannot imagine. I mean, that is a real thing, and that does happen. But also burnout at work. And pastors, listen to this. Are you experiencing constant exhaustion, both physically and mentally? And you actually feel like there's no rest that is going to refresh you. You feel detached. Do you feel detached from what you're doing? Where things used to really excite you, now it's a burden. Like for example, when preaching used to really excite you, and now you're like, man, I'm just going through the motions. I'm getting on, and I'm going on YouTube, and I'm just trying to find the best sermon that is out there, because I don't have the time or the space to be able to do it. Like I remember feeling that way, of just like, man, I am burnt out, and I don't like this feeling. And so pastor, think about this for a second. Business owner, think about this for a second. Are you detached from what you used to love, the things that used to excite you? And maybe even you feel more irritable. Maybe your focus is gone. Like you're sitting down to do your job, or maybe you've got appointments with people that are supposed to be meeting with you, and you keep pushing those off over and over and over again, and maybe you're even questioning your call to ministry. Are you questioning your call? Are you questioning what you're doing? And if so, then I want to talk about in a second how you can actually overcome that and how you can work through that, because burnout, it just doesn't show up all of a sudden. It is a buildup over time. It's a combination of overcommitting. It's a combination of not taking the time to recharge. You add in there constantly feeling like you need to prove yourself. Like pastor, listen to me. You don't need to prove yourself anymore. You are proven. You are proven. Maybe you need to hear that today. Maybe you're in ministry and you're like, man, I'm just doing all these things and all these things, and I can't get off the hamster wheel. Well, here's what I want you to know. You don't have to prove yourself. You are proven. The Lord is already seeing you. The Lord sees you. You are proven. And then you're on this wheel, and you just kind of have to keep going and going and going. And then because of that, you lack being able to set boundaries. So, when I say boundaries, you're like, I don't know what that is, because I say yes to everything. Yes, I'm saying yes to this and yes to this and yes to this. And that's just going to drain you faster and faster and faster. Emotional fatigue is a real factor in this. You're carrying the weight. Man, I know what this is like. You're carrying the weight of so many other people. You feel like you're carrying their responsibilities. You're carrying their pressure. You're carrying all these things on you, and you feel like you have to. Again, this happens to a lot of people, but today I want to focus on pastors. I want to focus on you right now, because honestly, even when I'm saying this, you have this feeling of like, I can't feel this way. I've got too many people that I need to make sure they're okay. And remember, you don't have to carry anything. You can listen, you can take it, and you can remove it. I meet with people all day long. Who are struggling in certain areas. And the cool thing is that whenever I meet with them, I don't have to take on their pain and their sadness and their stuff, because I know that the Lord is going to do a work in their lives, and I can give it to Him. I don't have to take it on. Also, I want to encourage you on setting boundaries, when you can start saying no to things. And that's the first thing I want you to think about. If you want to help yourself with burnout, then what is something you can say no to right now? What is something that you can say no to? You're like, Michael, I can't. I am literally the custodian. I'm the music pastor. I'm the worship, or I preach. I'm the missions person. I do all of these things. And I was hired to be the youth pastor, but now I'm doing all these things. And you're like, I can't say no. I can't say no. Here's what I want you to know. You can say no. But what can you say no to? Maybe it's that late night TV show that you're watching to try to turn your brain off and just go numb for a little bit. Maybe it's saying no to that so you can get a little bit more sleep. Maybe it's saying no to the club sports that your kids really want to play in, because you don't have the space, the time, or even the money to be able to do that. So I want to encourage you, prioritize what's the most important thing. What is that? And I would write them down. Like, write down the most important thing versus the not important things that you're doing. And start saying no to some of those things, because that boundary right there, especially when you're in ministry, of saying no to people, is going to help them to realize, oh, you're a human being, and you don't have to answer every single thing that comes to you, and you're taking care of yourself. And when you say no to something, let's say somebody's wanting something from you, you can delegate that to somebody else. Say, you know what, Bobby, man, thank you for thinking that I can get this done, but I'm really not the right person, but I know someone who is. Bam. And then you can do that. And maybe you feel like you're overwhelmed in the counseling space as a pastor. You're like, gosh, I am counseling so many people. Well, you can offload that to somebody. You can offload it to me. You can send me a message and say, man, I've got so many people that I'm meeting with in the counseling space, and I just can't do it. Well, that's something that I do. I can biblically walk people through processes, and I help people to take their next step. You can offload that to me. Or maybe you need to connect into a community. Maybe you're like, man, I'm so alone in this. I don't have anybody. I'm literally sitting here, and I feel like I am just drowning, and I don't have any community. And it's hard at times for a pastor to have community, because we put up these walls, because we just think like, man, I gotta stay here, and I really can't let people in. And I understand that. And I'm not saying that's an unhealthy thing. Sometimes you have to do that. You can't let your circle be really, really massive. But I've got a community that I would love for you to jump in. It's called the Circle of Hope. I mean, you can get in there. You can be you. You can just hang out. Not many people are going to know you, and you can be cared for in this community. It's absolutely free. The link is in the description. And that's for anybody. Anybody can get in that community, and it's amazing. So what's another step if you're feeling this? If you're feeling this like, this just combination of overcommitment, you don't have boundaries, there's so many things going on. There's weights of other people that are being put on you, all these responsibilities and all these things. So something else you can do is to reconnect with you. So take a step back and remember why you started doing what you're doing. Do you remember that? Do you remember why you started doing what you're doing? I can probably tell you why. Because you love people. And then what happens is, as you start growing and your ministry starts growing and more people start coming, you kind of start taking on this thing, and it just builds momentum, and you're like, boom, 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 and you forget the reason you got into it. And it's for the people, because you love people. And if you don't remember what that feels like, just pause for a second and remember that, and let God recharge you in that space. And then think of the things that are outside of that lane of you loving on people and being with people, and give those things away. What is that? What are those things? What are those meetings that you need to cancel? What are those meetings that you can just send an email? What are those different things? Third thing is, man, just take care of yourself. Seek support. Reach out. It's not just rest. Self-care is not just rest. What are some hobbies that you used to love that you don't do anymore? Who is somebody that you can reach out to and talk to? And if you don't know anybody, man, I'm a safe place to go to. You can come and talk to me. I'm not a part of, your denomination. I'm not a part of your conference. I'm not a part of any of that stuff. I'm somebody who by law you can come to. I won't share anything. It's a safe place. I'm a pastor. I've been there. I've been in that space before. I've hit burnout. I've had all the things, and I'm walking on the other side of it, and I'm walking in freedom. And now I'm able to be used by the Lord to free other people. And man, if that's you, or maybe you're listening to this and you're like, man, I think that's my pastor. I think he's really struggling. I think that's my children's minister. I think that's my worship pastor. I think they're really struggling. I think their marriage is like hurting, and they don't want to tell anybody because they feel like they have to have it all together. Well, reach out. Maybe it's not to me, maybe it's somebody else, but please reach out. Don't do it alone, because the enemy would like to take you and suck you in and trap you so that you feel alone. You're not alone. And it's okay also, I also hear this. Sometimes burnout can happen, and we start thinking like, man, I want out of the church. I want out of ministry. I don't want to do this anymore. And when you talk to people like, man, like you're so gifted and called in the church and in ministry. Why would you do that? It's because for you think that the church and the ministry is the thing that is actually killing you and making you want to quit. But really, it's the enemy, and it's the busyness, and it's not the boundaries that you're in. And it's you're not setting boundaries, and you're not reaching out, and you feel alone. You're not alone. The enemy loves isolation. He loves isolation. You're working late nights, early mornings, long afternoons. Wednesday comes, you got to have a sermon. Saturday, you got to have a sermon. Sunday, you got to have a sermon, or you got to have a song, or you've got to plan this event, or you've got to do this stuff, and you're just on this hamster wheel, and you forgot why you really started. Well, man, reach out. Burnout is a signal. It's not a failure. Write that down. Burnout is a signal. It's not a failure. It's a reminder to you saying, hey, some things need to be fixed. And if you have those lights going on in your dashboard and in your life, the alarm is going off, it's time to take some steps to honor yourself, to honor your needs, so you can move from a place of burnout to renewed energy, to renewed strength, and to renewed walking with the Lord in a whole beautiful way. How do I know? Because I've done it. I walked through it, and I'm on the other side of it, and I take people just like you through it. And I'd be honored to be able to work with you or someone you know that needs some help. So that would be incredible. So pastors, hang in there. You're needed. You're loved. You're wanted. I know you feel like all the heaviness is on you. Man, it's a lot, but also you're not alone. You're not alone. You have the Lord, number one. You have a spouse. If you're lucky enough to have an amazing spouse, most of you do. You have a spouse who loves you. Lean into that. If you can't be honest and open and vulnerable with her, that should say a lot. Let's talk. I can help you work through that. You've got this. So there you go. Also, so I wanted to share with you a story of why an MS-13 gang member threatened my life. And so, so guys, I can't make this up. All right. On on Monday morning, just a few days ago, I come here into my office, and I'm like sitting here, and my phone goes off, and I get a text message. Okay, I get a text message, and it looks like this. It says, and I blocked the number out because you guys will go fight them, and we don't need any fights. We don't need fights. It says, look what happens to each of the person who tries to play with, who tries to play with my business or my workers on the web. The only solution you have is to pay the fine if you don't want your family hurt, ? Period, question mark. And then they put all this information on here. Okay. Like you're just like, I'm just going to throw this out there. This is like all all this information. I live at none of those places anymore, but they put my name, they put a PO box, they put old addresses, they put ex-wife, I don't know who some of these people are. Sorry if I'm calling you out. They put all this stuff on there, and then problem, yes or no. Okay, so just it's really not funny. It's really not funny, and so the next text. I actually can't show it because it shows like dismembered bodies and hands, and it says, I wrote like, hey, this is a threat to my life, and screw you. So I said, I don't know you. You're being under investigation, which I mean, whatever. It wasn't true because I didn't know what to do. And then I was like, you know what? No, sucker face. I'm gonna call you. And so I called that number. So I called this number back because they're an MS-13 gang member. I couldn't put the rest of this on here because it's not good. The language is really bad, and so I called him, and he's like, you're gonna pay. I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. You wrote who tries to play with my business or my workers on the web. What are you talking about? And he's yelling at me, and I'm like, well then, he's like, I will come and I will put a bullet in your head. And I was like, oh snap. I said, all right, then come on. And I'm like fired up. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, man, I hope this is a scam. And that's why I'm letting you guys know about this. I'm letting you know about this because this is super scary. When they pull up all your information and they say, man, we're going to come get you. You owe me money. He's like, you owe me $3,000 because of what you did. I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? I didn't do anything. Like what the heck are you talking about? And he's like, you want to pay? And then this other like Hispanic person starts yelling in the background, like, blah, 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 blah. We're going to kill you and your family. And then they're like, talking about like my family and my kids and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, come on right now. Come and find me. I dare you to come and find me right now. And so, and then they hang up on me. Well, guys, so I go from that chair where I had the phone call, and I walked over here to this chair, and I sit down, and then I hear, remember, I said, come and find me, and then that they're going to find me, and they're going to kill me. And I heard a knock at the door, and I was like, oh no, this is a problem. So I hear the knock at the door, and then I get up and I slowly open the door, right? I'm like, and there's no one there. I'm like, oh, this is it. I'm dying. This is the end of my life. And I really, like, literally, I was okay with it. I had Lucy with me. I'm like, well, this is it. Lucy, tell everybody I love them. Open the door. There's no one there. And I slowly, like, put my hand out, like, like get my hand. And anyways, and I look out the door, and it's our the office manager guy, and he's like, hey, there's a fire, and we all need to we all need to get out of the building. And I'm like, what? And so I'm like, they're smoking me out. They're smoking me out. And so legit, here's a picture of the fire truck on Monday. So I had to go outside. And I'm like, what the heck? Anyways, here's why I tell you this. I tell you this because this is a massive scam that gets a lot of people. And I just want you to know it's very easy to pull up anybody's information on the internet. It's very easy. They can get on there and find your name and find the addresses and all the stuff. And so I ended up reporting them to law enforcement, and there's not much they can do, but I just felt better doing that. So if you ever get anything like this, relax. Don't give them $3,000. Please don't do that. They're making a lot of money off this because they're scaring a lot of people. They send images. It's just really gross. So I just want to encourage you. Don't do it. Don't give into it. And if you want me to call them, I'd be more than happy to call them. We could call them live on here. I think that would be hilarious. So anyways, that's how I was threatened by an MS-13 gang member. I actually tracked their phone number. I just did what they did to me, and they actually live in Atlanta. So, but yeah, don't give in. Don't give in. Pretty crazy. So there you go, man. If this live stream gave you any value today, I just would love for you to just like it, to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Again, the Free People merch is out. There's a link in the description. Go and get it. Jump, man. Any way that you want to connect, I would love to connect with you. This has been really fun. I've got to get more. I'm going to do this every Thursday. I got to get back on it because I miss my people, and I want Facebook and YouTube to tell you when I go live so we can get on here and hang out together. And if you think there'd be a better time to go live, let me know. When is that? I'm in. You just let me know when is best, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you later.